order under this code or to see दो पार्ट में डिवाइड किया गया है. As may be necessary to give effect to any order under this code, any order under this code, that is 482 CRPC, or to prevent abuse of process of any court, or otherwise to secure ends of justice. The third part is to give justice, to secure the ends of justice. So 482 CRPC, first part, any order under this code. Second part, to prevent abuse of the process of any court, or otherwise to secure the ends of the justice. Now, see, it is not about the only question. If you ask anybody, immediate जो दिमाग में आता है, whatever comes to our mind, if there is a case filed against me, and I feel no, it is wrongly filed, and my client comes to me and say, no, it is wrongly filed, I have not done anything. So we immediately go for quashing. But 482 got a wide powers. High Court has got wide powers. It empowers the High Court to give any order which will give justice to your client. As I said, there was a heavy bail amount. I went to the High Court and requested for that I may be given relief. I'm a lady, I'm a government employee, but I can't afford to pay this much heavy bail amount, so it may be reduced. Now, is 482 CRPC so easy? Actually, it is very easy, but you should be able to point out the real reason that why your court proceedings are filed against your client is wrong. Now, I had gone to the High Court today in one matter where my client was 75 years old man. His wife was also a senior citizen. She was staying outside India. 15 years they had no relation. Suddenly she filed domestic violence case under Domestic Violence Act against you. Now what did I do? I tried to put an application under 482 CRPC before the Honorable High Court of the Bombay. The matter was today. Vandana was also with me. Now what did I point out to the court? I have pointed out a woman who is not in India. One, she is not being an Indian citizen. Secondly, she does not regularly come to India except for vacation. Thirdly, there is no contact between my client and her for the last 15 years. So there is no case of domestic violence made out by her. So it is a gross misuse of the process of the court. It is an abuse of the process of the court. So Domestic Violence Act is wrongly filed against my client. So this is how I got relief for my client. So it's so easy. If you point out the proper reason that the proceedings against you are filed wrongly, it may be an FIR also, it may be domestic violence case, it may be check bouncing case, it may be a private case, it may be a 498 case, it may be any FIR, it may be anything. So High Court has got inherent power. Now 482 CRPC, every now and then you will find most of the judgments of the High Court under 482 CRPC. Now we have one more thing which I would like all of you to know this here, that is the Bhajan Lal's judgment. No 482 CRPC case is complete without Bhajan Lal's judgment. In Bhajan Lal's judgment, there are 7 guidelines which are very important. I will be reading out that, and that will give you clear picture what I am talking. As a junior lawyer and even at a my level also, I feel still I have to learn a lot in 482 CRPC. You should exactly know what you should be pointing out to the judge. This is the thing, and this is wrongly processes issued. The summons are issued to a client. The police have filed the wrong FIR against your client, and it is wrongly misuse of the law against your client. We will read the Bhajan Lal's judgment. This is very important part, para 8.1. In the exercise of the extraordinary powers under Article 226 or the inherent powers under Section 482 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, Now here Article 226 mentioned. I'll come to it that why sometime Article 226 is also applied under 482. That is a different subject. The following, let's understand what is 482 first. The following categories of cases are given by way of illustration wherein such power could be exercised either to prevent abuse of the process of any court or otherwise to secure the ends of justice. Though it may not be possible to lay down any precise, clearly defined and sufficiently channelized and inflexible guide, myriad kinds of cases wherein such powers should be exercised. Now, here, first condition, where the allegations made in the first information report, that is FIR, or the complaint, even if they are taken at their face value and accepted in their entirety, do not prima facie constitute any offense or make out a case against the accused. Exactly, आपको यही words use करना है. So you have to read Bhajan Lal's case whenever you are filing any petition under 482 CRPC. Next, where the allegation in the first information report and other materials, there may be charge sheet also. If any accompanying the FIR do not disclose a cognizable offense, justifying an investigation by a police officer under section 156(1) of the code, except under an order of a magistrate within the purview of section 155(2) of the code. Now this is FIR plus some other materials. Now the other material can be here the charge sheet or something, any statements which may be contrary to the actually the offense which they are showing that it has happened. This can also be one of the things. C, where the uncontroverted allegation made in the FIR or the complaint and the evidence collected in support of the same do not disclose the commission of any offense and make out a case against the accused. See, the FIR and or the complaint or anything, evidence collected, it does not disclose any small offense made out against the accused. The language is very simple. Read this judgment whenever possible. And no 482 CRPC can be completed without the reading the Bhajan Lal's case. Where the allegations in the FIR do not constitute cognizable offense, but constitute only a non-cognizable offense. Now, non-cognizable means Hindi में या मराठी में अदखल पात्र गुन्हा. No investigation is permitted by police officer without an order of magistrate as contemplated under section 155(2) of the code. Now you all know that the offense is non-cognizable. छोटा मोटा झगड़ा हुआ है पड़ोसी का, and FIR is lodged, but it is an NC matter. Then also it will be a misuse of the process of the court. So where the allegation of FIR do not constitute cognizable offense, but constitute only a non-cognizable offense. No investigation permitted. So NC matters में investigation is not permitted without order of the magistrate. Next, where the allegations made in the FIR or complaint are so absurd or inherently improbable, possible ही नहीं है, on the basis of which no prudent person can ever reach a just conclusion that there is sufficient ground for proceeding against the accused. And this is also very important. There you don't find any reason that a matter can be proceeded. Next, where there is an express legal bar engrafted in any of the provisions of the code or the concern act under which a criminal proceeding is instituted, there may be a bar to the institution and continuation of the proceedings, and or where there is specific provision in the code or the concern providing efficacious redress for the grievance of the aggrieved party. This is a little difficult to understand, but there is a possibility there is a bar, you cannot come under this act. Secondly, there is a efficacious remedy. There is kuch aur remedy hai, and you can't come here. Next, where a criminal proceeding is manifestly attended with malified or where the proceeding is maliciously instituted with an ulterior motive for wreaking vengeance. This is very important. Vengeance के लिए क्या है मतलब और बदले की भावना से on the accused with a view to spite him due to private and personal grudge. In the instant case, the allegation made in the complaint do clearly constitute a cognizable offense on, and this case does not fall for the exercise of the extraordinary inherent powers of the High Court to quash the FIR itself. So this was all about A to G, and these are very important. I'll share the citation of this. One of the important landmark judgment of the Supreme Court, State of Haryana and others versus Chief Minister, it was Bhajanlal and others, on 21 November 1990. Try to read it. It is actually very interesting case also from the political angle as well. So this was all about 482 CRPC. And if you want to go for quashing or to take any order under High Court, you should know 482. Suddenly the court say we are not we cannot do this. Then you can say your lordship can take the powers of under the 482 CRPC. Now I'll be sharing the screen with Manish. Manish is going to read something very sensitive today. Kindly unmute.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Karnataka cause person committing suicide a weakling. Don't diminish the gravity of mental health issues, says High Court.
How an individual copes up with a threat, both physical and emotional, expressing love, loss, sorrow, and happiness, varies greatly in view of the multifaceted nature of the human mind and emotions. Ma'am, please scroll down the screen.
I scroll down. Supreme Court, can you see?
Yes, yes. Supreme Court, in a case where a single judge of Karnataka High Court had termed person committing suicide a Brinkling, and also made observations on how the behavior of the deceased before he committed suicide was not that of a person who is depressed and suffering from mental health issues. The bench of Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud and Justice B.V. Nagaratna has held that such observations describing the manner in which a depressed person ought to have behaved deeply diminishes the gravity of mental health issues and death. The mental health of a person cannot be compressed into one size fits all approach. Factual background: the deceased, who was working as a driver for the accused second respondent, was found dead on 6 December 2016 with a 12 pages long suicide note next to him. The suicide note was uploaded by a deceased on his Facebook account through his mobile. The suicide note has referred to the
Manish, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Audible.
Yes, a 12 pages long suicide note next to him. The suicide note was uploaded by the deceased on his Facebook account through his mobile. The suicide note has referred to the illegal activities of the accused in amassing wealth in excess of rupees 100 crores, converting black money into white, and transferring funds from the bank account of the deceased through his mobile to the accounts of the relatives of the accused. The complaint alleged that the accused had threatened the deceased with death and harassed him, as a result of which the deceased, having suffered mental stress, committed suicide by consuming poison. Both the second respondent and his house driver were specifically named as responsible for his death. Details highlighted in the note: the transfer of funds in several lakhs of rupees by the accused to his relatives by using the cell phone and the bank account of the deceased, the the conversion of approximately rupees 100 crores into currency notes of rupees 2000, rupees 100, and rupees 50 only, the knowledge of the deceased in regard to the transactions of the accused, as a result of which he had been threatened to be killed by rowdies. A raid conducted against the accused by the establishment of the Lokayukta of Karnataka while he was posted in a housing board. The involvement of judges to whom presents to or gifts were paid, The payment of salary to the deceased having been stopped at the behest of the accused having used the deceased for changing currency worth over rupees 75 crores, and deceased being in knowledge of all the information, and when a shortage of an amount of rupees 8 lakh was found, the deceased had been directed to make good the deficiency, following which he was threatened to be killed by rowdies. Analysis, the court noticed that the High Court has evidently traveled far beyond the limits of its inherent power under Section 4 and 182 CRPC, since instead of determining whether on a per user of the complaint, a prima facie case is made out, it has analyzed the sufficiency of the evidence with reference to the suicide note. While adjudicating on an application under Section 482 CRPC, the High Court in the present case travel for away from the parameters for the exercise of the jurisdiction. Essentially, the task before the High Court was to determine whether the allegations made in the first information report or the complaint, even if they are taken at their face value and accepted in their entirety, did or did not prima facie constitute an offense or make out a case against the accused. Instead of applying this settled principle, the High Court has proceeded to analyze from its own perspective and the veracity of the allegations. The entire judgment of the High Court consists of a litany and surmises and conjectures, and such an exercise is beyond the domain of proceeding under Section 482 of the CRPC. The High Court has proceeded to scrutinize what has been disclosed during the investigation, ignoring that the investigation had been stayed by an interim order of the High Court during the pendency of the proceedings under Section 482. The High Court observed that the prima facie case for a commission of offence under Section 306 of the IPC is not made out, since first, the suicide note does not describe the specific threats. Second, the details of the alleged demand of rupees 8 lakhs from the deceased by the respondent accused are not set out in the suicide note. And third, the no material to corroborate the allegations details in the suicide note has been unearthed by the investigating agency. The High Court observed that since the deceased took considerable time to write the 12-page suicide note, it would have been but natural for the author to set out the details. Not only this, but the High Court had commented upon and made strong observations on the suicide note itself, diminishing the importance of the mental health. The single judge had observed it is not the case of the deceased that the accused had deprived him of his wealth or have committed acts that have shattered his hopes in life or separated him from his family and friends. It is not the case of prosecution that the deceased was running away from or escaping the petitioner or his henchmen, but that it is habit to visit the parents and to spend time with his friends. If the deceased had really felt threatened, and he would have definitely approached the police, it is not that he was native or not worldly wise. If his employment with the petitioner was true, then the police commissionerate was only a stone's throw away. It is not that the disease where accidents causing loss of life and life are a daily occurrence, and every driver is aware that he could be involved in an accident at any time. His act of attending a relative's marriage in a different town and his interacting with friends and relatives are all actions of a normal person and not of a person under severe duress. The contention that this criminal case will jeopardize his career progression also cannot be brushed aside. It is not the forthcoming as to how he sourced the poison. The court held that the above mentioned observations describing the manner in which a depressed person ought to have behaved deeply diminishes the gravity of mental health issues. Behavioral scientists have initiated the discourse on the heterogeneity of every individual and have challenged the traditional notion of all humans behave alike. Individual personality differences manifest as a variation of a behavior of people. Therefore, how an individual copes up with a threat, both physical and emotional, expressing Love, loss, sorrow, and happiness varies greatly in view of multifaceted nature of human mind and emotions.
This is Mahendra Casey versus State of Karnataka of 2021. Now,
Yes.
when we saw this judgment, we must have seen that 482, it has been preferred, but the High Court has analyzed it very differently. And we have read so many words. It was handling a very sensitive case of suicide, but how the High Court is analyzed. So you should be ready with all the answers. So when you file 482 CRPC, you should know that High Court may come out with lot of points. And there, who will help you? The Bhajanlal's case will help you. Because of Bhajanlal A to G, all the things are covered. And how the cases under 482 CRPC should be filed. So whenever you are filing any petition, any application under 482 CRPC, always read Bhajanlal once. So at least you don't fail on the face of it. You are able to take out some good ground before the Honorable High Court. And 482 CRP is the most important section when you want to practice before the High Court. Now we will see some legal vocabulary. I don't know, is the screen visible to you? This is the first word, regime, R-E-G-I-M-E. There is a regime for everything which has to be followed or filing. For filing cases, you need to follow it. See, these are the words I have taken out from the one judgment. And we should be using it. There is a regime for everything which has to be followed for filing cases, and you need to follow it. Now, meaning of the regime is, normally you find these words in the judgments. That is system. There is a system. But we don't write word system. When we write legally, we should use the good language. Next is encapsulating. The Domestic Violence Act has actually encapsulated the complete family laws in it. Those who have attended my domestic violence lecture, I have said that it has encapsulated all the important parts of the family laws, everything except divorce. So the word is the Domestic Violence Act has actually encapsulated the complete family laws in it. So we are using some good vocabulary before the court, and that sets you apart from the other lawyers in the court, and they actually you can impress the judge. Today I was before the Honorable High Court Bombay. I would say there is no traces of domestic violence in the entire application filed by the petitioner lady. See, the word is that there is no traces of domestic violence. Now you will find, where did I get this word traces of domestic violence? I have got it from the judgment. So if you read judgment, you will get. Now the meaning of encapsulate, you know, it is like capsuling, having in one area. Now resile, next word. He has resiled from the agreement in spite of two witnesses. Resile is like refusing, not agreeing, not accepting. Very simple word, but normally it is used when we speak legally or we write legally. Peruse, this is the most common words we always use. I would peruse your draft and suggest correction. अगर आपने मुझे कोई ड्राफ्ट भेजा तो मैं आपको बोलूंगी I would look into draft. बहुत simple लगता है. So I would peruse your draft and suggest some corrections. Written submission. Now this is also a very common word, but the written submission should be short and to the point, encapsulating the vital points of arguments. So when you use word written statement, submission, written statement, the vital points of arguments you can use. This is very important. Next is embark upon. That is to start. I will embark upon my journey of learning from today onwards. It's not simply, but I use it in a different way. I will embark upon. मैं अपनी journey start करूँगी. Judicial decorum. This is very important. I want all of you to learn. Whenever you are leaving the court, the judicial decorum demand that you take leave of the court. Whenever I leave the court, and there are very few people in the court, so judicial decorum बोलता है कि आप judge, you cannot leave the court just like that. It is a temple. So whenever you go out of the court and you're going outside the court after your matter is over, and there are only few lawyers or 2-3 lawyers or no lawyer, I can't leave the court. I say, may I take the leave of the court? So judicial decorum demands that you take the leave of the court whenever you are leaving the court. Accorded. Now the meaning of accord is to accept. Swikruti dena. I have accorded him to take his own decision when I am not around. I've told my junior, I have accorded him to take his own decision if I am not around. Assailed. Assailed is the most common word you will find. जो हमेशा हम लोग बोलते हैं, I'm assailing the order of the session court before the high court. The petitioner assailed the order of the subordinate